In this lesson we're going to look at some more questions on how to pass the unit assessment. So question 10, solve the equation x minus 5 bracket x plus 2 equals 0. So for this to work, either the first bracket needs to equal 0 or the second bracket needs to equal 0, because 0 times anything is 0. So to make the first bracket equal to 0, x is 5. To make the second bracket equal 0, x is minus 2. That's it, it's only a mark. Right, an important question. Solve the equation x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0 using the quadratic formula for 4 marks. Right, so the first thing you have to do here is you have to work out what the a, b and c values are in your quadratic formula, which is down here. This will be in the formula sheet and you'll get it in the final exam as well. So here we are, x in front of the x squared is your a, so that's 1. There's no number there, we just call that 1. In front of the x you've got a minus 2, so b is minus 2. And the c here is minus 5. So copy down your quadratic formula, and then all you have to do is substitute the numbers in. I'm saying all you have to do, you need to do it accurately and well to get the full 4 marks. But if you practice this question off, it's not too bad. Right, so here's the formula, just straight from the formula sheet. Now we have to be careful here subbing in negative 2, because you've already got a negative in front of the b, so that turns it into a plus 2. So you'll notice there's a plus 2 there. Plus or minus, the square root, minus 2 I'm going to put in a bracket, squared, take away, I'm going to open a bracket in front of the 4ac, because I've got 3 things multiplied, I'm going to put it all in a bracket, 4 times 1 times minus 5, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. Now, we're going to focus on working this bit out underneath the bracket. Okay, I'll also change that to a 2 in the bottom, because 2 times 1 is 2. So we've got x equals 2 plus or minus the square root, that comes to 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Take away, 4 times 1 is 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. So be careful when working that wee bit out there. That comes to negative 20, and we're going to subtract negative 20 all over 2. This is the most common bit for mistakes. If you don't put this bit in brackets, sometimes you just put 4 take away 20 and it makes an error in your calculator because you can't square root a negative. Now when you subtract a negative, you actually add, so that becomes 4 add 20. So you get down to that line there, 2 plus root 24 over 2, or 2 take away root 24 over 2. Okay, so I've went my 2 different ways to get my 2 different roots. The roots are just where the parabola cuts the x-axis. So I went plus root 24 over 2 or 2 minus root 24 over 2. Now there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can either put this in brackets, divide by 2, or you can type this top line, hit equals, then divide by 2. If you don't hit equals first and don't use brackets, it will only half the root 24, it will not half the 2 at the front, and it will give you an error, or a well, it won't give you an error, but it will give you the wrong answer. Okay, so if you type that in properly, you should get 3.45 and negative 1.45. Now be careful in the exam will sometimes ask you for 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places, and you lose a mark if you don't do that. Right, question 12, the last one I'm going to do in this lesson. Determine the nature of the roots of the equation 2x squared take away 2x plus 4 equals 0 using the discriminant. So any question that asks you about nature of the roots, that uses the discriminant. And you need to know what the discriminant is. It's this bit here. It's just a wee bit under the square root sign in the quadratic formula. Now to work out a, b and c is the same. A is the number in front of x squared, 2. B is the number in front of x, minus 2, and c is the last number, the 4. So I substitute them all in and I work this out. So it's negative 2 squared, take away, same idea, I'm going to put a bracket, and 4 times 2 times 4. Negative 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8, 4 8s are 32, so take them away, minus 28. Now you need to know the 3 rules that apply to discriminant. If the discriminant is greater than 0, that means there's 2 roots. If it's equal to 0, there's only 1. And if it's less than 0, then there's no real roots. So make a statement, this quadratic has no real roots because b squared minus 4ac is less than 0.